It's time for Bringing the Heat with Byran Nolen.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is another edition of Bringing the Heat. We are in the first week of May of the 2025 calendar year. On this week's edition of the program, we got the driver from Junior Motorsports and Carson Kvapil. He joined the program with me back in Texas a couple of days ago. We talked a plethora of things from his rookie year in Junior Motorsports, North Wilkesboro. We talked about if he's going to run any more late model races. And then so much more. And then after that, I'm going to bring in my co-host, our NASCAR content director, and the guy that was with me in Texas, the Fort Worth area, that being Mr. Steven Stumpf. We're going to talk a plethora of topics from the Lone Star State, and then we are going to dive into some final thoughts and gear up for Kansas. So without further ado, let's dive on into the Inferno with Carson Kvapil.
Now it's time for...
White flag is out. Carson Kvapil has dominated the back half of this race. Carson Kvapil will take his Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet into turn number 3. Carson Kvapil comes off at turn number 4. Carson Kvapil will win the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200.
To go into the Inferno with Byran.
Right now, folks, at this time, going to bring the program driver of the number 1 car here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Junior Motorsports, Carson Kvapil, joins the program. First off, I got to ask, because have you seen the social media trend that's been going on, like 100 guys versus 1 gorilla? Have you seen that social media clip that's been going around?
I've seen it. I haven't looked into it by any means.
I mean, what is your thoughts on that? Do you think that the 100 guys could win?
I would take the 100 guys for sure.
I feel like all you got to do is attack the eyes and then attack the groin, and you'll be good.
I think they got it covered. If you got 100 people, I mean,
you're going to probably kill like the first 10.
Just cycle them out and just take from the back, come to the front, and I think they'd get it.
Exactly. Alrighty. I thought I'd do a little bit light to start this, but first overall full-time season. Just what's been this season like so far? Obviously, I think 2 and 3 straight months without a bye week. You get an off week after this week. Just your overall thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had obviously we've had a lot of speed. I feel like early in the season we kind of just got off to a rough start and. We weren't crashing out of the races and not finishing, but we'd have a good run going, and it just seemed like something would happen, and we'd finish 17th instead of 4th where we were supposed to finish. So I wouldn't say it wasn't terrible, right? I mean, obviously we had good speed and we were putting ourselves in good spots. It just seemed like a lot of the stuff was out of our control that just kind of kept taking us out of it. But last few races we've had some pretty good runs, and I feel like Talladega is such a wild card. I feel like we had a really good car for that, and we were there coming to the white flag. I just made a mistake on my end and got thrown out of line. So, I mean, I feel like our season's really starting to pick up here. I feel like some of these tracks we're going to. Obviously, this one's a new one for me, but honestly, I don't have any doubt why we couldn't go run really good at the new tracks for me. And this whole number 1 group, they bring me a super fast car week in and week out. So. It's really just up to me to kind of figure it all out and try to adapt as quick as I can.
Last time I covered a race, it was COTA, and I think everybody was shocked at how good you were. I mean, were you always this good of a road course racer? Just where did all of that come from?
I'm really not a road course racer. Growing up, I never really did much of that. Just some legend car stuff and Bandolero stuff at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So it wasn't like I had ran karts growing up as a kid or ran anything like that. It's just kind of last year, the year before, I was able to get roughly 5 TA2 races in at various road courses, which one of them was COTA. But I always thought I ran pretty good, and I felt like we'd go to these races with pretty stout competition, and we'd always run top 5 or have top 5, top 3 speed, and every race I went to, I'd learn a bunch. So I honestly thought we'd have a good run going at COTA before we went there. I knew that I kind of had a clue what I needed to do, and I knew this group was going to bring me a fast car. So after that race, I'm honestly really looking forward to the road course stuff for the rest of the season. I feel like Mexico coming up is going to be a wild card for everybody. I feel like really none of us know what to expect, so I think that might help me out a little bit, just having a level playing field as everybody else. But no, I mean, I was never a road course racer, just kind of, I guess, learned it as I went.
Talking with Carson Kvapil here. Obviously, you got your start, most people know, for the late model days. I remember the first time that it came back to North Wilkesboro, you won that race. What do you remember from there, and just looking back, just what was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. Before I got linked up with Junior Motorsports, I was running for my dad's team, and we were kind of limited on what we were going to do. We were running super late models, and that was kind of as far as I was going to be able to go with that. And fortunately, Josh Berry was moving up to the Cup Series, or not the Cup Series, sorry, the Xfinity Series at that time. And they kind of needed replacements. So to fill that spot and to go to that North Wilkesboro race, my first season with those guys, and go win that race, that was obviously a huge kickoff for us, and really boosted our confidence for the whole year. And from there, I just got really fortunate, and had a lot of things go my way to give me these opportunities to run the Xfinity car a few times last year, and then eventually a full-time ride for this year. So no, I mean it's we've come a long way since 2022 Wilkesboro, but I feel like I'm really learning a lot this whole season. These Xfinity cars are tough to drive, just a lot different than the late model stuff that I was used to.
I mean, we got a couple off weeks coming up. Any chance we see you in a late model anytime soon?
I mean, I'm planning on running Wilkesboro. I wouldn't say it's a done deal or it's for sure going to happen, but it's on an off weekend for us, and there's an off weekend before that, so I feel like I should be able to get the thing ready and just kind of go have some fun. I kind of want to go back to the late model racing a little bit, and just kind of have a good little fun weekend.
Talking with Carson Kvapil here. Obviously, it's a grind. I mean, it's not as much of a grind for you guys in the Cup Series with only one off week, but it's still a grind from February to November. So how do you not get burnt out, whether it's coming up in June or July or even August, and just commit to staying focused on this race team and just you personally?
Man, you got to love racing, that's for sure. It is tough. I'm not used to this every weekend routine. The late model stuff, it was a few weeks where it would be every weekend, and then you'd have weeks off. So, I mean, it's different, but at the same time, I feel like this first year for me, I'm working nonstop throughout the week, getting ready for the races, and I haven't been here before, so I can't really just show up on the plane Friday morning and just go to the racetrack. Throughout the week, I'm looking at video and trying to prepare and talking to people. So I feel like the rookie season for me has been it's been busy. I mean, obviously we're racing every weekend, but at the same time, the throughout the week stuff is also pretty hammered down.
Obviously, a 4-car team, you and Connor, kind of the youngest, and then you got Sammy, but the real kind of the veteran of the entire Xfinity Series is your teammate Justin Auger. What has he brought to the table in terms of just learning, in terms with, like you said, you've never been here, so what has he given you in terms of experience or like tips, and just what has he brought to the table in junior motorsports just in general?
Yeah, I mean, he's the most experienced veteran in this series, right? And at Junior Motorsports, all us drivers, we kind of look up to him and kind of let him answer the questions, right? So, no, he's been good. I mean, there's been a lot of times where we're doing sim, and he'll be the session after, and I'll kind of just talk to him about how I feel at a certain racetrack or what I'm fighting, and he kind of walks me through it, and he's really good at explaining that type of stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely huge to have him in the team to kind of look up to and to ask questions, and he's always there to offer his help, and he's a really great person, that's for sure.
Let's go back to the start of the season. What were the goals before the season? Have you achieved those goals, and then have they even been changed since you've gotten, I mean, some fairly quality results, not a win obviously like you wanted. Coda's probably your best shot, but just what are the goals for you now personally?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I never really had any set goals going into it. I mean, I feel like we have the team, and I feel like eventually I should be able to figure it out enough to go get a race win, and I feel like we almost did that a few times this season already, and we're right there at it. So honestly, that's really the only goal I have. Obviously, I want to finish all the laps, or try to finish as many laps as I can, right? And keep ourselves good in points and get stage points. But really, I feel like, man, if we just keep going at the pace we're going now, I don't see why we can't have a win or two by the end of the season. I mean, it's super tough to do, but this team, they bring a powerhouse race car to the track every weekend, and once we go back to some of these tracks for the second time at the end of the season, I think I should be a lot better off.
Last but not least, what does the future hold? Everybody, I mean, we have Xfinity regulars, we have people that have just risen up from the Xfinity Series. What does the future hold, if you even know, for Carson Kvapil in 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I don't really know, right? I mean, obviously we all want to go race Cup cars eventually, but at the same time, I'm super happy with where I'm at right now, and obviously if I get the opportunity to go Cup racing or hopefully go Xfinity racing again next season, kind of just take it as it comes. Really, I don't have a schedule laid out of what year I'm doing what or anything like that. It's just kind of one of those deals where just gonna feel it out. Hopefully we can go run good, win some races, and then either stay running the Xfinity car or move up to Cup. It's just it's a tough one, right? I mean, it's so hard to be in the position I'm in is super difficult, and to move up to the Cup Series is even harder. So it's just going to be one of those kind of deals where we just take it as it comes.
Once again, that was Carson Kvapil joining the program. Big thanks to Julian at Junior Motorsports for accommodating us and accommodating myself for the interview in Texas on Saturday, or should I say on Friday afternoon. With that being said, let's dive on into what is still hot.
What's still hot? It's time to upgrade you on the latest news in NASCAR.
Once again, that was Carson Kvapil. I'm diving into what is still hot with my NASCAR content director at Steven_Stumpf. Steven, how are you, my friend? You're still in Texas. I know that your family lives there, so we let you stay out there before you travel to Kansas. So how's the great Lone Star State treating you before you fly out in a couple days?
It's good to be back home. For really the first time since I moved to North Carolina. I also realized how much I've badly missed good Tex-Mex.
Gotcha. I don't even know what that is, but I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. With that being said, like you said, a new venue change. You moved from Texas to North Carolina. Well, the NASCAR Cup Series championship race, that is going to be moved from Phoenix to Homestead, as it was revealed that a rotating championship style will be started in 2026. Phoenix will be on that list. Homestead will start out. Steven, I think this is a fantastic move. I'll have a soft spot in my heart for Phoenix as well. But with them still being in the championship mix, maybe they'll get it in 2027, 2028. Homestead provides great racing, and they're going to be hosting the championship again.
I think I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this is news that pretty much everyone, except maybe Phoenix Raceway, wanted to hear. Homestead has been one of the best tracks of the next-gen car. It's put on a show pretty much every time. We all saw how great that race last year was with 3 passes in the final 2 laps. Tyler Reddick making it to the championship 4. There's still a little bit of amenities that need to be done, that need to be upgraded at Homestead, but there's a year and a half for that to happen. But I think this is a great move because Homestead's a great track, but I think if we're going to have a championship decided by one race, I think it's only fair to have a rotating list. Like hosting it, like for example, some drivers are better at some tracks naturally, and if the championship is continued to be hosted at one track, that gives some drivers an unfair advantage over others when they make it to the final round. When you mix it up, there's more variability, and there's less chance for that advantage, so to speak. So I think this is a very great news and welcome addition in more ways than one.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fantastic. I think the biggest thing is gonna be the activation, and I think that's always been the big thing with the sponsorship. Mark Garrow of PRN was on our Happy Hour podcast, and he was like, it always is never the first option when they go down. Like the Dolphins, they have plus the Miami Heat often play. Miami has a soccer team. I mean, and then you just got South Beach in general. And I mean, technically, it's not even at Florida. It's closer to the Keys than Homestead in general. So it's going to be interesting to see how they transform it into a championship track. Let's dive on into our soundbite of the week, where a very fired up RFK driver was not so happy at a Byran Motorsports driver.
Well, Tony, what angered you at the end of the race? What did you take issue with?
What the hell do you think I was mad about? Dumb little runs us clear down to the infield. He wants to about everybody else, and he's the one that drives like a little. I'm gonna bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
It's your track race.
It's time for the sound bites of the week.
Well, what'd you see?
What'd you see, Bob?
I saw you getting run into the wall by somebody, but
Who was that somebody?
I don't want to say because I
think
didn't.
I know who it was.
Yeah, who was it?
Yeah, I think it was a 77.
Okay.
It's all right. He just seems to be proving me right over and over again. So really fast race car. Unlucky on the pit cycle. We were doing things right and coming back through, and just got ran into the fence by somebody that has no respect for his equipment, anybody else's equipment, and any other driver out there. So he'll have his day.
That was Ryan Preece after exiting the infield care center, talking about Carson Hocevar. And I mean, listen, we've seen it on a yearly, weekly basis, almost yearly basis, that Hocevar has speed. Sometimes just can't control it. And I think in one of those cases, Steven, it was just he just really couldn't control it.
Yeah. Before we get into the incident, though, I do want to mention that Ryan Preece and Carson Hocevar obviously have that long history. It's now been 3 years since that Charlotte truck race where they were both going for the win, and Carson accidentally wrecked themselves. So I think there's a lot of bad blood there, but I will say from watching the replay, it definitely seemed like Carson just lost in the corner and took himself and Ryan out. Cody Ware got collected too. Personally, I would consider it a racing deal, but when it seems to be this common denominator, the same guys, other drivers will get frustrated, and obviously in Ryan Preece's case, he was very, very frustrated, as are a lot of drivers seemingly in the garage with Carson a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's just he's got the speed. He just needs to control it. So it'll be interesting to see how and honestly if he does. That being said, let's dive on into our final thoughts segment and wrap it up.
It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side, right to the line. Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag.
The checkered flag is out, and it's time for the final thoughts.
Our final thought segment is in the air. Steven, Stumpf, whatever you want to rant, rave, or anything in between, my friend, the floor is yours.
We badly need a good Kansas. I mean, we've been on the struggle bus the last month. Texas was Texas. A lot of crashes. You couldn't really pass, which is kind of been a next-gen car. But before that, we had Talladega, Darlington, Bristol, Martinsville, all of which would be absolute bangers in the past, and they all fell flat. I mean, it's hard to live up to the start of last year, where we had the 3-wide photo finish at Atlanta, the photo finish at Texas with Ryan Sieg and Sam Mayer, the photo finish with Larson and Buescher at Kansas last year. A lot of great racing. It's hard to top that, but even with this great last year, it has been a very, very, very rough start. The criticism of the next gen car seems to be at an all-time high, and for NASCAR, and I think for the fans' sake too, it's like, let's just hope Kansas is a great race so we can finally talk about something good and talk about something great and not have to focus on the car every single week.
For me, it was my first time to Texas Motor Speedway, and I thought it was a great time. And for the first time, it feels like the track is actually losing grip and it's actually letting the drivers race. Now, there's been obviously rumors and rumblings about them transforming it, and I think that they should do no such thing. Each and every year, it's getting worse and worse. The PJ1 is slowly losing its luster, and I think this is fantastic. Sure, there's a little bit of a bump in turn four that took Josh Berry and Kyle Busch out. Sure, but then again, everybody knew that bump was there for 267 laps. Coming off of turn 2, there was a plethora of wrecks, and I know that we all don't love wrecks, but there are part of our fan base that does love wrecks. I think what they should just do, especially if they just have one race, just leave Texas as it is, because it was the best crowd in 15 years, according to Texas Motor Speedway. Fans showed out. They had a great time. We almost saw an underdog winner. So I think what they should just do, they should just leave Texas as it is. It was more entertainment than good racing, but it was still an entertaining race. With that being said, leave Texas as it is, and we'll just move on in. And once again, like every year, we'll just head on over to the Lone Star State and see what kind of chaos Texas Motor Speedway brings. You know what else brings great entertainment? That is the analysis of Mr. Steven underscore Stumpf. Steven, if I asked you to do everything that you do for the website and talk about it, we'd probably be here for an extra 20 minutes. So, briefly, in like 60 seconds or less, tell our viewers what you're going to be doing in the next week for Front Stretch, because you do like 18 million things.
Well, earlier today, I did an interview with Matt Gould, the son of Phil Gould, at Martinsville. That got posted. I have an all-new stat sheet that's going to be posted tonight. It's going to cover Chase Elliott, his season so far. I got some other big interviews, some other good interviews lined up in store for the future, and just excited to be back at Kansas.
It's going to be really, really fun. Like we announced last week, myself, Dalton Hopkins, and Michael Massey Jr. the third, and Alex Gintz will be heading to Indy for our first Indy 500 for Dalton and I. Second Indy 500 for Alex and Massey, and then we're all gonna provide some spectacular content. Can Kyle Larson win his first Indy 500? Can Elio win his fifth? Can Joseph Newgarden win his third? There's so many different storylines on the table, so it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be leaving in 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's gonna be absolutely exciting. So once again, stay tuned to frontstretch.com for the greatest Memorial Day content that you will find ever on the interwebs. Once again, big thanks to Steven underscore Stumpf. Big thanks to Trey Lyle for co-hosting this absolutely fantastic, marvelous, benevolent program. On the next edition of the Front Stretch Podcast Network, we got Through the Gears. My man Wyatt Watson's got all the latest betting odds, and then Stock Car Scoop with Caleb Barnes on Happy Hour on Tuesday with Dalton Hopkins, Trey Lyle, and Michael Massey. That is the Front Stretch Podcast Network. Steven, it's always a pleasure, buddy. Appreciate you, and have fun in Kansas, my dude.
Thank you. Excited, and I should mention that I will be at the Coca-Cola 600 while you guys are at the Indy 500, so it's going to be a great weekend auto racing Christmas. Be sure to stay tuned for all the great stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to wake up at 4 a.m., so that's gonna be a bonus for you. But then again, I think you would just stay up instead of, because you're a late night out, not an early morning riser. So, but once again, at Steven underscore Stumpf, Trey Lyle VT, and then at the Byran Nolen. Big thanks to everybody at Sports Program. For Steven and Trey, I'm Brian Timothy Nolen. We'll talk with you next week here on Bringing the Heat.